Yeah, I mean, this looks like, God, that looks amazing. Look at that foliage. I mean, I keep saying that, but the foliage looks really good.
With the games we've built, our technology, and all of us here in the studio, we've done so much together, but, well, we've never tried to make a game like this. Today, you'll get to hear from many on the team and see so much of what we've...
I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but I actually like Todd. He's like more relatable to me than a lot of big CEOs. That might sound weird, but I don't know. It might be the way he talks or how excited he is about games, but yeah, I actually like him.
think makes our game special. So let's jump in and take a look. Starfield is our first new universe in over 25 years, but it's still a Bethesda RPG.
Can you go to that mountain?
Through, where you step into a new world and you get that feeling of unlimited possibilities.
Watch him say something like you can go to that planet.
It's not just one world. It's over 1,000 worlds. Because the choice of where to go, it's not ours, it's yours.
Oh, it looks beautiful.
And it wasn't until now that we had the technology to create it. From the rocks at your feet, to the mountains in the distance, to the people and creatures that live in these worlds.
So, I know the worlds themselves are auto-generated, or I think I've heard something like that. Maybe he'll touch on that in this video as well. But are the animals and people or whatever kind of creatures, the aliens on these planets, are they going to be auto-generated as well? Because if they're the same creatures across planets, it's not going to be very immersive, right?
That isn't just a backdrop. That moon is actually there orbiting the planet. Yes, you can visit it too. We realistically simulate the galaxy around you. Our next generation lighting model uses real-time
I don't know if this is rendered in-game, but those smoke effects look amazing.
Global illumination to light the world based on the type of star and the makeup of the planet's atmosphere.
Yeah, that's stunning. Foliage looks spectacular as well.
We also have an all-new animation system. And of course, you can play it in third person, and you can play it in first person.
That's pretty cool. I like the customizability there.
We love exploration and rewarding it, but you do explore differently in this game given its scale. That usually involves exploring an area you've landed in. You can collect resources.
That reminds me of that game. I think it's called Astroneer or something.
Maybe even stumble upon something unexpected.
Also No Man's Sky, obviously, but I'm gonna try to make as few comparisons to that as possible. Ooh, gunplay looks good. I mean, I won't know how it feels until I play it myself, but that looks like it's got a punch to it, you know? Oh yeah, I like those hitboxes and everything. Looks great. Movement looks amazing as well.
We do love stuff and all of the items allowing you to pick everything up. And you can view all that in your data menu.
Very Fallout.
This is the hub for everything you're doing, from your skills to your ship, your missions, and your inventory. We love to pack a ton of detail in every object, from all of your weapons to spacesuits.
Guys, that looks amazing. There's a ton of detail on every single asset, it looks like.
To food. We just obsess over the details, and food. We obsess over food.
As you should.
When you're done exploring, you can walk back or fast travel to your ship. We have companions and crew you can take with you. I left Vasco here back at my ship.
Welcome back, Captain Howard.
And he can even say your name. Let's head out.
Okay, he can say your name, but what if your name is not a common name? So that AI just said, or not AI, the NPC just said Captain Howard, which I'm sure he put his name in, but Howard's a pretty common name, right? Can he say something like Sharkeisha or something, you know?
Our mission was to convey the wonder and majesty of space exploration, to evoke the romance of the golden age of early spaceflight. And we've been referring to this approach as NASA Punk. This means a design language where the tech is advanced, yet still looks grounded and relatable.
For us, it's that contrast. That's where the visual interest is. Obviously the NASA, which is the rigid, hard function over style, and then Punk, which is all about style.
You can see that visual style coming through in your ship. Your ship is your home for you and your crew. And like many of the spaces in our game, it has a slightly retro and analog touch, a bit of lo-fi rather than sci-fi, where everything is well used, worn, and lived in.
Alrighty. What's the plan, Captain?
This is your star map. It starts with the planet you're currently on. You can see all of its info and resources. You can choose a landing spot or fast travel to known locations.
For a game this big, I feel like it's super important that they get the map right. So like, for example, let's talk about Elden Ring, right? Elden Ring had a map which was very customizable. It didn't just throw out a bunch of information, but it had a good balance between giving the player information and the player being able to put down his or her own markers, or having a little bit of customization to it, right? For a game this big, you know, where worlds are auto-generated, it's, you know, practically infinite. I know it's not actually infinite, but, you know, for a lack of better words, it's infinite. How is the map going to work? Is everything going to be detailed out, or are you going to be able to customize it, right? So that's really important to me. Hopefully they get it right. Let's see.
Backing out further, you can view all the planets in the system. Obviously, the game is big, and it's here you can see planets that have key locations, missions, or life on them, versus the many planets that are barren but resource-heavy. Zoom out even further to see all the systems in this part of the galaxy. Here, you can plot a course to ones that are light years away. This uses your ship's grav drive to fold space and jump to these systems, and you will need to upgrade your ship and skills if you want to jump to the most distant ones. But for now, we'll plot a course to the Alpha Centauri system, where we can find the city of New Atlantis.
I like it. I mean, you can go into more detail on each planet and get information on the planets, I guess, that you've been to, but you can also zoom out and jump to other systems. I mean, it looks good at surface level, but this is something that I have to spend a couple hours with the game and actually play and see how the map really works in gameplay, you know? So hopefully it looks good at surface level. Hopefully it's good when you're actually playing the game as well.
Welcome to UC Space.
I wonder if
Maintain your current course
it'll
while we scan
load
your
that
ship's
quickly
cargo.
when you're actually playing, or if they like cut
Scan complete.
forward or.
You are cleared for landing at New Atlantis.
So for an area
As
that's
soon as you land in...
let me just go back here for a second. For an area that is as detailed as this is, will the frame rate drop, right? Because let's say you're in a more barren planet, right? Or a moon or something. Obviously the frame rates are going to be probably a bit higher, you know, locked on PC. Probably it'll lock to 60, right? If I had to guess with the 4090 and a high spec machine, it'll probably lock to 60. Or I hope, as long as it doesn't release broken. If you go to a map like this, where there's a ton more assets, a ton more detail, our frame rate's gonna be completely, you know, halved, right? Is it gonna be 30 frames per second instead of 60? Because I would rather have consistency and have like a locked 30 even on PC than keep jumping between like 25 frames per second to 60 frames per second, anything like that. So hopefully they found a good balance of managing how these assets render in and stuff, and giving you a good frame rate throughout the entire experience.
As soon as you land in a city like New Atlantis, your eyes are guided upwards
That's
to just
stunning.
these boundless
That's really
and
exciting.
vast buildings.
It's the biggest city we've ever made, not just in size, but also in the amount of custom art, crowds. And
Oh, that
quests.
looks good. That looks really good,
So the main
guys.
focus when we're designing a city is obviously what supports the story. We try and tell as many small stories as possible.
Okay, so man, it looks so amazing. I'm sorry, I don't want to keep pausing it the whole
Obviously
way
what
through, but
supports the story.
let me just
We
pause
try
on
and
this frame. The amount of like detail in even like the roads, like there's a little bit of moss towards the side of the road, and it's like more clean in the middle. I love that. I love that. That kind of detail isn't something every player will notice, right? But having those tiny details that some players might notice really adds to the immersion. So I love that they have that kind of detail in here. I'm getting excited at the small things, but that kind of stuff is cool to me, man.
tell as many small stories as possible.
This is a Colony War memorial.
That fire looks awful. Awful. Everything else looks so good. That fire is starkly bad.
It's a few moments of gameplay that make the space feel like it's full of real characters that are going about their day-to-day lives.
It's paralyzing if you really stop and think about it.
Buddy, it's coffee.
It's also where your
like that.
adventure with Constellation begins.
I want to hear like those side conversations going on with the NPCs as I walk by them. I'm one of those freaks who'll like stop at every corner of the game just to hear the NPCs talk and finish their conversation. So I like that they have that kind of detail in here.
Welcome to Constellation. We have a lot to talk about.
By the time you meet them, Constellation is sort of seen as this mythical group. Most people don't even know they exist anymore. They're the last true explorers in the galaxy, and they're trying to find the answers to some of humanity's biggest questions.
The artifacts are so different, so alien, and I'm certain one of them reached out and spoke to you. The artifact, if you could place it on the table here.
Oh my god, look at how it's coming together.
That means there's a set built by an intelligence outside the settled systems.
It's definitely an eclectic cast of characters. You've got Sarah Morgan, the ex-soldier and adventurer, now Constellation's leader. Mateo, the theologian who believes that there's definitely something else out there. Noel, the gifted scientist and Sarah Morgan's protege. And Walter, a very successful businessman in the settled systems and Constellation's financier.
Anything goes as long as you have the money.
There's also...
Eclectic is good, right? Any kind of diversity and personality is good when you're playing a game because it makes it feel real. Just like the real world, there's a lot of diversity and personalities. The issue is these individual characters shouldn't be trying too hard, right? Because then you get into a situation where you have a game like Saints Row, the most recent Saints Row that they released, where the characters are going so far and making jokes that are so weird and cringy, they're no longer believable, right? So eclectic is good, and I don't mind that, and I want these characters to have a diverse personality, but they need to be a little bit grounded in reality, right? Because I want to be immersed. When I'm playing this game, I want to feel like I'm in that game, and when I'm talking to these people or these characters, I want to feel like these characters are real. If you say something totally off the cuff and I don't believe you're real, that completely takes me out of the experience and I want to play it a little less, right? So eclectic is good, but I'm going to be a little cautious about that.
Vlad, the ex-pirate, Sam Coe, the former space cowboy, and Barrett.
You know what I hate about these pirates? Completely resistant to my otherwise irresistible charm.
The journey you take with Constellation is just the first of many you'll embark on. The Settled Systems is home to all kinds of different stories, people, and adventures for you to uncover.
Oh, that looks good.
The United Colonies is where you'll find New Atlantis, the first major human settlement in space.
Cool, cool.
The people who live here value law, discipline, and the legacy of humanity. They consider themselves the true children of Earth.
You ever think of joining up with the Vanguard? Help the United Colonies, even get your UC citizenship?
New Atlantis isn't the only city within the United Colonies.
The city of Sidonia on
That was a
Mars
sunflower
to this
with
day
legs. I
serves
like it.
as the largest mining facility for the United Colonies. Beyond the United Colonies' reach, you might find yourself in a much more wild and independent coalition of star systems. This is Freestar Collective Space.
Ooh, I like that. It's like a Western kind of, I guess, planet. I like that. I like the diversity already. I mean, there's a planet that has a lot of technology. Reminds me of like some of the planets in Guardians of the Galaxy. And then you have planets like this, which are like don't have as good an economy and are kind of like a Western kind of planet. I like that diversity.
The capital of the Freestar Collective is Aquila City.
The Stone Root Inn is an Aquila City fixture.
A ranger relies on judgment and intuition to do what's best for the people.
Neon started out as a fishing platform, but is now known throughout the settled systems as a pleasure city, where almost anything goes.
If you've got morality issues, this definitely isn't the job for you.
What's this game gonna be rated? Has ESRB given it a rating yet?
Ryujin is hiring the best and brightest of today for our future tomorrow.
Everyone.
By the way, all these questions that I'm asking, if you guys have an opinion or any kind of comment you want to make, please let me know, because I want to get a discussion going on this. I'm going to respond to everyone, or I'm going to try to respond to everyone, and I really want to hear your opinions on what you think about the game. Are you kind of cautious like I am, or are you pretty much all in and you've already, made a pre-order and all that? So let me know.
One has been chewed up and ground up by Neon. Try not to get yourself killed, all right?
The amount of blood
Outside
in
the
that last
bounds-
scene makes me think this is going to be M for mature.
Civilized space, there are still plenty of unclaimed systems to explore, but these areas are also home to the most hostile
I like
factions
that
in the
guy's
galaxy.
t-shirt.
The great serpent hungers. All heathens shall be made dust in time.
A new face. Is this the face of a brave runner here to challenge the Red Mile?
They think the galaxy is theirs. They are wrong. It belongs to the Crimson Fleet. It always has.
In Starfield, we're pushing our cities and settlements further than we ever have before. It's all there, waiting for you. A slice of humanity's future.
So, ready to get out there?
The voice acting isn't the best.
Throughout the galaxy, there are so many things
But
to
maybe
see
it'll grow on
and
me.
stories to experience. But the most
I'm in
important
love with these
story is the
graphics.
one that you tell. I'm the type of person who spends hours in character creation.
Me
and
too.
I think people are going to be really excited when they see all of the improvements we've made.
Good.
One of the biggest overhauls was done through our character generation system.
We scanned a wide range of faces from different age groups and ethnicities, and by mixing and matching all that data, we were able to create highly detailed and diverse characters.
That's awesome.
We use that exact system to create all of the characters and NPCs you're going to see in the game. So any character you see almost always is a character you could make yourself.
That's great. That's really great. I spent a lot of time even in Fallout 4's character creator.
Come on. Okay, take it easy. You were out cold. No physical damage.
So these characters aren't Red Dead Redemption 2 level of, detailed, and you can see each character's skin pores and stuff, but this looks good. It's sufficient for how big the game is. Like, I don't expect these characters to look as good as Red Dead Redemption 2 or The Last of Us Part 2, right? This is sufficient for how large the game is, and I think this looks great. As long as I have the level of customizability that they say I'm going to have, I'm going to be happy with this.
Mentally, the jury's still out. You know who you are? New recruit for Argos Extractors? Ring any bells?
I like that as he's talking here, you can see the smile lines and whatever develop the more he smiles or the more his mouth moves. That's a good amount of detail to have. Adds to the immersion, right? I know I keep saying that, but I feel like these small details really do matter.
Any of this look familiar?
Oh, looks great.
You start your
Looks
character
great.
creation journey as though you're cycling through employee records. You'll pick from a lineup of 40 presets, and that'll be your starting point.
That's good. That's fine, as long as you can change it up as much
Your
as you
journey
want.
from there can be as detailed or as quick as you want it to be. This new system has more to offer than ever before.
Good.
It's also the simplest character generation system we ever had. We let the player get as close as possible to make whatever they want. With
Great.
the various facial morphs you can blend together, the dermaesthetic and makeup, blemishes, scars, piercings, teeth settings. It's a lot, but I think it's the most fun to use.
Character creation is more than just how you look. This is also where you start to decide who you want to be. That's where backgrounds come in. Backgrounds give you a bit of backstory and start you out with 3 basic skills.
From
This
chef
is
to
very
dusty.
CRPG.
You know, the crew still has a
Sorry
betting
for
pool
that
about
cut.
which restaurant critic you must have crossed to wind up here.
What's great about backgrounds is you never know when yours is going to come in handy. You could be in the middle of a fancy restaurant talking to some guy, and suddenly you learn he needs a beast hunter to help track down a monster.
Fine. I probably should stick to professionals.
Guys, I love that. I see. One of my favorite. I'll keep comparing Red Dead Redemption 2 because there's a lot of things that game did well in terms of immersion, right? Which is probably the most important thing to me when we're looking at these AAA games. Is whenever you were playing Red Dead Redemption 2, you could naturally come across side quests, right? You could be just taking a stroll in the woods with your horse or whatever, and then on the side of the mini map you see someone who's hollering at you because a snake bit him or something. This is amazing because it feels like things are happening naturally instead of you having to. The Witcher 3 is a great game, but you have to pick up a lot of side quests from like these billboards that are littered throughout villages, right? When you come across side quests naturally, it adds a level of depth to a game, to any game, that helps you really feel immersed. I'm at a loss for words here, but I really appreciate that whenever you're like going to a restaurant like you are in this game and you just come across some random character, he might just give you a side quest. You don't know. It makes you as the player want to explore everything. It makes you as the player want to talk to everybody. I love that level of depth. So that's super exciting.
Anyway, given what happened the last time.
We're also giving you the option to customize your build even further by letting you pick up to 3 traits. Traits are completely optional, and they come with their own advantages and disadvantages.
Good.
You could choose to meet your biggest fan.
Vectera, by Vectera, by Vectera! Is it really, really you?
He'll
That's
join
awesome.
your crew, and he'll give you gifts if you're willing to put up with this constant commentary.
I can't believe I get to stand near you, breathing the same air. I've got to have every molecule.
My favorite trait is
I like
stuff.
that.
You have to pay some credits
awesome.
to support your parents, but they're very sweet, and it's really fun to go visit them.
Honey, we got ourselves a visitor.
Oh my god!
I came across some hostile zealots in space, but because I had chosen a trait that made me the same religion as them, I was able to get by without any issues.
There's
Good.
another great one that gives you a damage buff when your health is low, but mercenaries will randomly show up and try to kill you.
This reminds me a lot of like CRPGs, like Divinity Original Sin 2 is a great one I can think of, where dialogue choices can really impact the way your play session goes or your campaign kind of progresses. And not too many like third-person AAA games have that kind of depth in dialogue. I mean, Cyberpunk did it. Fallout 4, I think, did it to some extent. But the level of depth really matters when you talk about dialogue choices, right? Is it really going to impact the story? Or is the person you're talking to just going to say something slightly different, but you're going to end up at the same end goal? So I hope that dialogue choices really can like create a web of different end paths that you can kind of get to.
No matter what you choose, there will be plenty of ways for you to tell your story. And if you want to remove a trait, there are ways to do that too.
What a view! It's a feast for the eyes. Off we go.
What if you want to completely
another
respec,
adventure.
not just remove like a couple traits?
We'll let you discover that on your own.
Okay, I like that they're leaving some mystery to this. I don't want to know everything yet, right? So that's okay.
Once you've built the perfect character, that's when your journey can really begin. We took what we loved about skills and perks from our previous games and put them together to create an all-new skill system. Each time you
I
level
love
up,
the gunplay.
you get a skill point.
It looks so good.
Which can be used to unlock or rank up skills. Ranks are unlocked by completing challenges associated with that skill. Challenges become increasingly difficult as you work your way to higher ranks. With our 5 different skill trees and 4 ranks per skill, there's a lot to choose from.
I like the xenosociology skill because it lets you mind control aliens.
Boost pack out of the gate. I'm boost packing everywhere.
Oh, I'm getting that. That looks so cool. Mobility stuff is always awesome in games
I like
this.
maxing out my physical tree so I can get neuro strikes and just punch my way through combat.
I don't like the, brain takeover kind of skills in any game. Even in Cyberpunk 2077, I really didn't appreciate the skills where you kind of hack people's systems or whatever, and it felt too easy. But I really, really like it when it gives you the ability to get like mobility skills, and you can kind of slide around or do like double jumps or whatever, and make your gameplay experience really like exciting and energetic, right? So I really appreciate the fact that they have all these mobility skills, and like you could get a jetpack if you wanted to. And like they showed the third person clip, but even in first person, I can just imagine like jumping up really high, shooting some people, going back into cover. That kind of stuff is super exciting to me. So I like that they have some mobility skill sets there. So a good amount of melee. Cool, like it.
Invest in the skills that suit your playstyle.
Good.
I'm
good.
very much a stealth player. So, I'm out there pickpocketing everyone. My favorite part about being stealthy is slowly creeping through vents like you're in a movie and then jumping out and springing on people.
Whenever possible, I like to talk my way through situations.
This area's off limits. Fine, I'll issue you an access card.
I'm more of a run and gun player.
Me too, man, me too. I like action.
I like doing a death from above thing where I boost pack over guys and I throw landmines at them. I like blowing stuff up.
Heck yeah, man, me too. I like blowing stuff up as well. I'm gonna lose a lot of credibility for this, but guys, I absolutely loved Call of Duty games growing up. It's what all my friends played, so it's what I played. I wasn't allowed to get too many video games. So if my friends got a Call of Duty game, that's probably what I got, just so I could do like the online experience. And I get really excited when RPGs, as I grew older, I got more into RPGs. So I play CRPGs, I play like Fallout 4 and all that kind of stuff as well. And in RPGs, when I have the option to kind of combine like that Call of Duty gunplay with an RPG, that's like super exciting to me. So looking at this gameplay and how, thumpy the gunplay looks, that's super awesome. Hopefully it plays as good as it looks, but the hitboxes, the sounds, it looks good so far to me. Oh yeah, good sniping gameplay right there. 360 no scope, maybe.
Exploration is a key aspect of all our games.
Okay, exploration is probably the most important aspect of Starfield for me, or any like open world game. Exploration is super important. I was talking to a buddy of mine, and we were talking about some of our favorite RPGs out there, and for him, exploration isn't as important as something like combat. For me, exploration is probably the most important thing. I want to be able to roam around and be kind of rewarded for roaming around and kind of going into nooks and crannies of the map that most players might not. So hopefully they get this right. Let's see.
In Starfield, there are full star systems with new life, resources, and adventures.
Foliage looks really,
Our
really
team
good.
worked hard to strike a balance between fun and realism.
We study data from NASA and a multitude of other sources to help us make the world feel believable. From the way we approached planetary atmospheres to the way we placed biomes based on the planet's distance from the sun.
That looks good!
Once we had created a grounded world, we could start looking at all the things that make that world fun. When you leave a planet and head into space, you'll be navigating asteroid fields, having chance meetings with interesting strangers, dogfighting in space, and exploring derelict ships.
Space stuff looks good, but that's not what I'm excited about. Like, I'm not super excited about space combat.
It's all out there.
More excited about like the planets themselves, exploring
Ultimately,
the moons.
It's about rewarding your curiosity, because whether it's on the surface of a planet, the alleys of a city,
that looks good,
or
guys.
the vastness of space, you never know what you'll find.
How customizable are the ships, I wonder? Oh, well, there we go. That's
Space
pretty
exploration
customizable.
is possible thanks to your ship. Your ship is almost like having another character or home you can make all your own. I think you'll be blown away by the amount of stuff you can do.
Cool. Good,
you can
good.
buy a ship.
I'm sure you can find something you like.
Customize and upgrade that ship. And
This looks
hire a
deep.
crew to keep it up and running. And it all starts in spaceports. Every spaceport has a ship technician where you can purchase, sell, and modify ships.
Anything I can help you with?
Maybe you start off with a speedy fighter that's perfect for bounty hunting. Then you might round out your ship roster with a hulking space freighter to run cargo missions, or even do a little smuggling. For now, though, we're going to take our starting ship, the Frontier, and make some changes.
Let's see
You
it.
can customize and upgrade everything you see here. And you have two ways to do that. You can quickly upgrade individual systems like your weapons or shields, or you can deep dive and enter the shipbuilder mode. Here you can change anything, from the systems to the look and layout. Adding a new habitat module can give you more room for crew.
Okay, so it looks like they're doing all of this on console, right? Because, I mean, just you could tell by the way things are moving. And they have the button prompts on screen at the bottom right there. I really, really, really hope. I'm going to be playing this on PC. I want to play at a high frame rate, have a ultra wide monitor and all that. I want to make sure that I have a good experience when I play on PC. If I launch it up on PC and the UI just doesn't work right, or the game isn't compatible with like wider screens or something, that's going to be super disappointing. So I'm glad they're showing all this gameplay and whatever in console, but I really hope they do some justice to the PC version, because games lately run fine on console, but they don't run as well on PC. Callisto Protocol, for example, that released back in December, ran great on PS5. But if you tried playing that on PC when it first released, not a good experience, right? So it's fine that they're showing this for the deep dive with console gameplay, but I really hope they get the PC stuff working as well.
Adding cowling can change your ship's overall silhouette. An improved grav drive allows for longer distance space jumps. You can even fully customize your paint job to get the exact look you want.
I love it.
The parts you choose to build with don't just affect your ship's stats. They'll also affect what you can do inside your ship. You can have modules for crafting, or for storing and displaying your weapons.
Nice.
Starfield's in-game ship manufacturers bring their own look and feel to every piece of your ship. From living quarters to cargo holds, mess halls, and control rooms.
Jeez, how long have they been developing this game? I know the game got delayed a billion times, but
our modified Frontier is a practical ship, but with a little creativity, your ship can look like almost anything you want.
It's a bit odd, but one of my favorite ways of customizing ships is I make them look like animals. The HMS Platypus, as I called it.
She sounds a bit nervous.
Where it had a giant tail to it. And we've done spiders, we've done mechs. So it's really
I love that.
whatever
That
your
looks awesome.
imagination is.
And while you can build your home among the stars the way you want to, you're probably not the only person who will call your ship home.
Guys, I cannot wait to see like the modding scene and see what like players come up with. When Tears of the Kingdom recently released with their all new physics engine and the new powers that Link has, people have been coming up with crazy stuff, like crazy vehicles. And you can go look up like YouTube compilations, but as soon as this game releases, I really hope they have some sort of modding support, because I can only imagine the level of depth some of the modders will go to provide some like really cool gameplay. And if it's got a modding scene like Skyrim or something, man, I cannot wait to see what players come up with. So far, it looks good though,
Ready
even
to
without
lift off
mods.
when you are, Captain.
Engines ready.
The Frontier is fueled and ready, Captain.
Some of the members of Constellation can join you on your journey. These companions can serve on your crew, and they'll always be there when you travel.
We'll be traveling together until we either find an artifact or this lead runs dry.
This reminds me of, I think Obsidian made it, the Outer, is it the Outer Worlds? Yeah, Outer Wilds is a different game. It's the Outer Worlds, I think. And how you could take some companions with you wherever you find them, on a planet or on a spaceport or whatever. And you could take those companions and take them with you to all the different planets or whatever. There's only 4 or 5, but it was pretty cool to like make a friendship and then choose to take them with you on your spaceship. So I think that's pretty cool. You could take companions with you or whatever. That's good attention to detail.
Each companion comes with their own valuable skills for your ships and outposts, as well as unique quest lines. Eventually, some friendships might blossom into romance.
I don't know that I've ever really loved anyone except you.
And if you're looking for a little extra help on your ship, you can always hire additional crew at spaceports.
Got any room on your ship for someone like me?
How many companions
You'll also
are there?
meet potential crew members out in the world.
Still think there might be a spot for me on your ship? I gotta get off this rock.
Assign crew to your ship or outposts, and their unique skills will affect how they run.
Can you take them out with you on missions, or
And
do
just
they
like
stay on the ship?
companions, most crew members can lend a hand in the field.
Well,
take Bosco, for instance.
Spoke too fast.
He's designed around the core basics
Bosco
of the
looks
NASA
cool.
machine.
Please avoid getting shot.
He looks like that Overwatch character. What's his name? The character that can turn into a turret.
Might die.
I still wanted to give it almost a humanoid personality, so I elongated the limbs.
Is it Bastion?
This tends to make him feel
think
more
so.
human-like and give him a little personality.
It is a shame exploration requires so much bloodshed.
I like him. I think he might be one of my favorites.
Using the shipbuilding tools and crew selection features in Starfield, you'll be able to build and captain the ship of your dreams.
I like it. I like it a lot. Picasso.
And now, let's take to the sky.
For anyone who didn't get that reference, I think it's like a TikTok or something. I'm not just saying weird stuff out of nowhere. I mean, sometimes I do that too, but you can ignore that time.
We're putting you in the cockpit of your very own spaceship and telling you that you can do pretty much anything.
Can you
And that's
pilot it
really
in first
cool for us
person?
as developers.
Or do you have to pilot it
Space
in
flight
third person?
should be exciting and dangerous. And
I think you
you
can.
should
Oh,
feel like you're in
perfect.
complete control every step of the way.
Looks like you can.
We've extended that sense of control to ship combat. It's not about just hitting your triggers to fire your weapons. It's a complex dance between your piloting skills and our power allocation system. Boosting power to your engines will make your ship faster.
Ooh. Cool.
Powering up the ground drives will shorten the amount of time it takes before you can make a jump. And moving your power to your weapons and shields means you're ready for a fight. You should always be on your top.
That is really cool. I actually like that. There's an indie game out there. It's very popular. I think it's called EFT or something like that. And, you know, it's a 2D game, very simplistic, but like power allocation is kind of important in that game. And I like that they added like that level of depth here as well. Pretty cool. You could choose to be more aggressive by giving power to your engine. I like that level of detail, and you can do it on the fly, hopefully.
Pose, because you're not alone out there.
Cool, third person and first person. I like that a lot. I'm gonna probably play it in third person. That's just, I like looking at
Unlocking the
everything.
targeting control system skill will allow you to zero in on specific subsystems of the ship you target.
Oh, that's cool. That's a skill you have to unlock, okay. Attack their weaponry first so they can't fight back. Then their engines as they're running away. That'd be pretty cool.
After destroying an enemy ship, you can loot the remains from your cockpit. You can always turn any ship that engages you into scrap.
That's awesome. Now, let's say you flew through that explosion. Would that damage your
ship? But you can also take a more personal approach by docking with the enemy vessel and boarding their ship.
Like it. Oh, that's probably what I would do if I like the gunplay enough.
Once you've taken control of an enemy ship, it's yours.
Can you sell it?
Add it to your fleet and retrieve it at any spaceport. But space is way more than fighting for your life. Just like
an important note here, it needs to be not super annoying how often pirates come in try and attack you, because let's say you're just trying to get something done or you're carrying cargo or whatever. I don't know how the deep mechanics work, right? But let's say you just want to get somewhere or you're just flying around, you just want to chill. If you're constantly attacked, that could get annoying. Like I can see myself just wanting to relax and then I get attacked like every 10 minutes. So I'm really curious as to how consistently these pirates are going to keep attacking you, how often they're going to keep attacking you. Hopefully they find a good balance there, because it can be the difference between engaging and exciting to just tedium, right? So hopefully they find a good balance there.
Like when you're planetside, there are plenty of sights to see and stops to make on the way to your next adventure. Like these massive star yards.
Okay, what
Walk
is
the
that?
halls, talk to the crew, maybe get talked into buying a whole new ship.
Just like a space
That's the
station?
in my star yard. Let's see about getting you a proper
Whoa.
ship, one worthy of you.
I like that guy's
Maybe
face
you'll
paint.
dock with a gigantic battleship, like the UC Vigilance.
Now, can you fight the UC Vigilance?
Or rub elbows with the galaxy's wealthy elite on a cruise ship fit for the stars.
I like it.
There are plenty of personal encounters to be had as well. You can hail any ship you come across to trade, swap info, or maybe even commit an act of piracy.
Let's do this.
When I'm playing, I generally go crazy. I definitely go
Me
like the
too.
more piracy routes.
Heck yeah.
I want to take over ships. I'm going to board ships. I'm like, this is now mine. I steal all the sandwiches and put them, you know, in my cargo hold that I have specifically for sandwiches. I don't want to play the hero, but I want to go out
That's
and just
awesome.
start taking things from
I love
people
it.
as quickly as possible.
So this is pretty cool, because whenever I play games, I do like multiple playthroughs if it's like a good deep RPG. Like with The Witcher, for example, that's not like the deepest RPG, but it's a pretty good RPG, right? So first playthrough, I played through it as a good guy, you know, chose to do everything correctly, was nice to everyone. Second playthrough, I was just the most unfriendly person you could run into. And hopefully this game has, I mean, it seems like it does so far, but it has enough like options in dialogue and stuff so that you could choose to be a good guy or you could choose to be a bad guy. Because if you can, and if it's different enough, I will definitely probably do multiple playthroughs, depending on how long the game is. I mean, if it's a 300-hour long game, I'm not going to play through it twice, right? But if it's like maybe 100 hours long, I'll probably play through it twice if I love it enough.
Some strangers might be looking for a little human connection in the darkness of space.
Hello, stranger. I just finished cooking up some food. If you want to come on over, just pop on by.
Some of the best moments are the ones you discover on your own.
Yeah, I feel like you're giving me too much info, man.
About Starfield
Let me discover all this.
It is a Bethesda game through and through. It's really about going to strange new places, meeting interesting people, and getting sidetracked on zany adventures. Then, realizing 2 hours later that you're involved in a completely new story.
When he says this is a Bethesda game through and through, one of my biggest worries is that it's going to release broken. And it's not going to be fixed for like the first year of it being released. Fallout 4 came out in a state, you know? Skyrim is still broken. So hopefully hopefully this isn't a Bethesda game through and through, because it releases and it's working, then it's not a Bethesda game through and through, right? I'm kind of just kidding. I really hope it's working and I can actually enjoy my experience instead of running into a bug every 2 minutes.
Human? We thought we were the only ones to leave Earth.
That DNA is so present here. It's in our random encounters, it's in our handcrafted quests, and it feels so cool to play it and just make your own path in this universe. There are over 1,000 planets out there, just waiting for you to visit. We want you to feel like explorers, breaking ground on new planets, exploring every inch of a mostly untouched galaxy.
Heck yeah.
We want you to feel hopeful. We want you to feel this sense of awe and wonder, and sometimes a little fear. We're giving you a massive playground.
I love how much
is
is going on screen there.
And just setting you free.
Hopefully the frame rates don't drop too much. Yeah, that looks good. I actually really like the ship combat in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. But it got to be too much towards the end. I tried to 100% that game, which is kind of stupid because the game's like 1 billion hours long. But towards the end of the game, the ship combat got to be a bit too much. I hope I don't feel like that in this game, because it seems like it's really deep and it seems like I could enjoy it. But if I'm trying to get all the achievements and stuff, and if it becomes to be like just a tedious thing to do, I just hope it doesn't.
Hey everybody, we've shown you so much stuff, but we thought we'd just take a little break and show you something a little bit different. You know, we put so much detail into our game worlds, and we love the opportunity to bring that into the real world with our collector's editions. And for this game, we've done a watch. It is the Constellation Explorer's Watch. This is the watch that you actually get in the game that acts as part of your HUD, where it's the compass and then environmental information. It connects to your phone.
I like how minimal that HUD is, by the way. Hopefully you can, it's pretty customizable and you can kind of reduce it even more, but I like a very minimal HUD. I don't want to see any like HUD elements on screen unless I choose to. Like for The Witcher 3, at least with this most recent next gen update, they have an option where you can turn the HUD on and off with one button. Amazing. Do that in this game. Because I don't want the HUD on screen when I'm just like exploring. And then let's say I'm done exploring, I kind of want to go back to doing quests, and then I can just press that, whatever button it is, and then go back to looking at the mini map to see where I have to go. I would like something like that in this game. I don't necessarily expect that they'll do it when it's released, but that would be pretty cool.
Notifications and other information, and we've also designed this really cool case that it comes with, Istvan.
Yeah, we really took as much care and designed this case as we did the watch. Our attention to detail in the game totally translates to this. Inspired by the cases that the astronauts used during the Apollo era to bring back samples from the moon. It's got an intricate locking mechanism, authentic, heavy, comes with a Constellation patch,
that looks
native
pretty good.
strap, and the overall functionality and believability of this
watch
as
is so
something
big.
that would exist in the world in the Starfield universe.
Oh, and hey,
my watches
take this. You'll find it very useful
relatively
out there.
small.
It even tells the time.
That looks huge.
We actually have something else. Now that we're part of Xbox, we get to work with the amazing people on the Xbox.
I think that other guy, the watch he's wearing is the same watch I'm wearing. You see that? I think that's the Hamilton.
Hardware team, and together we have created this custom limited edition Starfield
That looks
controller.
pretty freaking
It's
cool
awesome.
too.
It is now, you know, our favorite controller.
I like that hot rod red
because
there.
it's inspired by the actual controls of your spaceship. And not only that.
Oh yeah, that looks good.
We've created the first ever custom headset with Xbox.
I would never use it, but looks
cool. This is a perfect
cool.
pairing with that controller.
Nice.
Control
Guys, I really like that controller. If I didn't already have a Xbox controller to use with my PC, I'd probably get that. The headset looks okay, but it's... I don't know. I don't like headsets to be like that loud. I'm weird though. Oh, I'm getting chills looking at like the... Let me play that clip again. Like the different planets and the level of like... Oh, the level of difference between each frame that they're putting on screen here. I love it. There's so much diversity in the different environments. I feel like I can be so addicted by this game. It looks absolutely amazing. That's awesome. That is spectacular. A little barren at times, but I mean, it would be, right? Realistically, not all planets would have.
In every one of our games,
stuff on
we
it.
always put so much care into all those little details that breathe life into our worlds. But Starfield isn't just a Bethesda Game Studios world, it's a Bethesda Game Studios galaxy. So why go this big with Starfield? Because we want to give you freedom on a galactic level. The freedom to experience both the exciting planets and the quiet ones. Scanning a planet before you land is a great way to get a sneak peek at the available resources you can use for crafting, building, and customizing.
I think what's cool about this whole system that we generate the planet itself as a procedural content, but the handcrafted content itself comes as the player explore. Our system builds a planet as the player approaches it. We stitch together a block of terrain.
I love
After
it. That looks
we have
amazing.
the system that adds
Look at the amount of
interest
foliage
together,
on look at that. There's so much foliage on screen. The way the light is bleeding through the trees as well, like if you can see, like the edges of the trees are a little bit lighter than the center of the tree. I'm not talking about the actual tree trunk. I'm talking about like the leaves and stuff. It's like the, I don't know what it's really called, chromatic aberration or something like that. But man, I love the way the light's playing off of all the foliage on screen here. That looks absolutely stunning.
Of terrain. After that, we have the system that adds interesting locations for the player to explore, creatures to encounter,
lots of diverse color,
ore and plants to pick up. It allows us to add that touch of environmental storytelling that Bethesda is known for.
Great.
Aggressive
That's
creatures
awesome.
have been disrupting our experiments.
That's something Fallout 4 doesn't get enough credit for, is like environmental storytelling. There's locations in Fallout 4 where if you go in, it has nothing to do with any of the side quests, any of the main quests, anything like that. But if you go into some of like the cabins in the game, the cabin will have like notes scattered about. It'll have like a dead person's body somewhere, right? And you kind of have to piece together the story yourself. And environmental storytelling is something I do think Bethesda does really well. So hopefully they do it well again, and I have no doubt that they will in this game.
Their habitat isn't far from here. If you could take care of them for us, we would be in your debt.
So even if your friends were to visit the same planet that you had, you would have a different story to tell.
That's awesome. It looks so good. The gunplay looks so good, guys. I remember watching a gameplay reveal, I think maybe it was like last year, but this looks so much better for some reason. Like the frame rate looks better. Like it's not as choppy, and it looks more, it just looks more polished.
It's completely up to you how you want to interact with each planet. Whether you want to explore and see what you can find, harvest resources and be on your way, or simply take in the views.
All of the above,
With the help
sir.
of your scanner, you'll chart the uncharted and discover exotic wildlife.
If you have the skills, you can even figure out that certain creatures and plants, you can build an outpost and produce resources from those plants and animals. You can get experience and rewards for fully surveying planets and fully surveying the whole system.
All right, sorry for that weird cut, guys. Ooh, that looks
When we were concepting these
interesting.
creatures, we really wanted to think
kinda
of them as
scary.
natural to the environment. We didn't want alien monsters. We wanted native wildlife. Something you've never seen before.
Okay.
When it comes to our exteriors, when the sun moves, all that light is calculated in real time through the atmosphere. Our biggest goal for lighting with Starfield was to make the game feel more filmic, to use lighting and color to really make it feel more cinematic.
Wait. So lighting is real time, but they didn't use the words ray tracing. So do they have like their own proprietary way to provide like a real time lighting solution? Because it makes sense. If some of this stuff is auto-generated, they would need to have like real-time lighting instead of like baked-in lighting, right? I don't really know how auto-generation works, but that's interesting. So they must have like their own weird way to do real-time lighting. It looks really, really good. I know these are images catered to show off to the audience, and maybe it won't always look this good, but based on the images they're showing on screen right now, this looks freaking amazing. Absolutely phenomenal. And does it depend on how far the sun is from this particular planet? Is that going to have like an impact on how bright or how the light looks, right? Very interesting, guys. I cannot wait to dive deep into this. I'm a nerd for like graphics and just generally how they make it work. I'm a software engineer by trade, so this kind of stuff is super interesting to me. I just hope it runs well. All of this looks amazing. Everything looks great.
After some exploring, you can find a spot to set up a base camp.
Like No Man's Sky.
Outposts can be built almost anywhere on any
I
planet.
won't make that comparison.
And the habitat modules come in all shapes and sizes, filling all different purposes. You can even live in them. Assign crew and companions to work at your outposts for added bonuses, and set up extractors to harvest resources while you're away.
A little bit of
Something cool we have
Factorio.
this time is we have a new fly cam where you can toggle between on-foot building, or you can now use a top-down isometric camera, which helps plan out larger parts of the outpost and placing those larger
That's
halves.
awesome, yeah.
That way you can really plan your structures and what the overall feel of your outpost is. And then when you're on your feet, you can really decorate and fine-tune things much easier.
Cool. That's awesome. I like that. Because when you're playing something like Minecraft and you have a really big picture in mind that you want to build, it's hard to build if you're not in creative mode because you can't get like that top-down view, right? So if you're someone who's creative, I like to have the option to have like that isometric camera to kind of build out my base as I need. I'm the type of person who like draws it out, plans it
Add
out,
crafting.
and then builds it out. So I like that they have that isometric view so I can kind of plan out my base before I start making it.
And research stations in your outpost to utilize any resources you find or already have.
Mod your weapons to adapt them to your playstyle. Different weapon sights and scopes, larger magazines, a selection of grips and barrels, different ammunition like explosive rounds. All you stealth players out there will surely need a suppressor.
Oof, that gun looks nice. Let me back up just like a second here.
All you stealth players out there will surely need a suppressor.
Oh yeah, that looks really good. I like the amount of detail they have in these guns. And I like that you can like actually add modifications to it and it'll make it look slightly different. That looks really good, guys.
You can also choose to go hands-on with melee weapons.
I find melee combat to be really, I don't know how to put this, like not polished enough in Bethesda games. Like melee combat tends to be kind of like half-baked. Sorry to everyone who loves melee combat in Bethesda games out there, but like when I think of like something like Fallout 4, gunplay was good enough. Still not as polished as I would like for it to be, but it was better than Melee, right? So I think if they do a good job with Melee, I might try it out. But based on my experience with Melee combat in Bethesda games, that's not something I'm going to be exactly itching to do.
It's always a delicate balance between like what's realistic, what's sim, and what's Hollywood. And I think we sort of err on the side of like what's fun for the player.
With Starfield, we've completely overhauled our combat. It's more dynamic, the animations are more fluid.
Yeah, it looks great. Looks great.
It just feels great.
That's what I just said, though.
We probably have more mods and more weapons in this game than I want to say any other game we've done before.
Oh, man, I don't want to keep rewinding it, but I like the level of...
It just feels great.
Like, I like the differences between each gun. Like, look at that. That looks amazing. Like, that looks so different from all the other guns we've seen in this clip, right? I like the like difference in each gun and how it seems like each gun's from like a different planet. It looks really cool.
I want to say any other game we've done before. There's a lot of variety.
Good. Variety's good.
Upgraded gear is just one of the many factors to pay attention to when engaging in combat. You may need to switch things up based on your environment.
Is there bullet drop?
Gravity is different for each planet, and boost packs are excellent for getting around.
But does gravity affect bullet
And
drop?
for giving you an edge in combat. Sometimes you'll even feel like you're flying. Zero gravity environments pose a different challenge. Firing a ballistic weapon in zero G will actually push you backwards.
Oh, that's really cool.
Energy weapons, on the other hand, offer a more stable shooting experience.
Oh, that's awesome. Guys,
We also have mag weapons.
this is so deep.
These are high-powered electromagnetic induction ballistic arrays. Each barrel has its own targeting laser and can dish out some serious damage.
My God, that's awesome. I love the gunplay. That's like the most exciting
Whether you
part
want to
of
get
this
up close
game.
and personal with your own two fists, or you like more compact weapons like pistols and submachine guns, or maybe you prefer something bigger. Starfield's got you covered.
Oh, I'm getting chills, guys. This looks really good. I don't want to get too hyped, right? I pre-ordered Cyberpunk and it was broken when it released, so I'm trying not to get too hyped. That's cool. He like used a grenade to freeze the guy, but then walked up and meleeed him. I like that you could kind of combine ranged attacks as well as go up and melee people. It's pretty cool. I almost feel like they're showing us way too much here. I want to have these wow moments like in game when I'm playing, you know? Big explosion.
Thanks again for being with us today. We are just so grateful that you've taken the time and spent it here. I know there was probably a lot to take in. There's a lot to the game, even more than we could show here. You know, as we play it, we're always sharing these unique and special moments that only a game like this can bring. When I think about what makes it special, it really is the people here. This game is a reflection of the incredible and passionate team that made it. All of them putting something special of themselves into it. So let's hear some of their favorite moments.
Todd, you better get this right, man.
I love the way that our final combination of all the new tech has come together to create some of the most beautiful sunsets and sunrises we've ever had in any of our games.
I love the creatures, the exploration, every biome is different. The word that comes to mind is vast.
I like to use our photo mode to take rock star photos.
I just love that constant feel of discovery and wow, I can't believe that there's more here.
I'm most excited about our outpost building systems.
Yeah, that's
My
pretty
favorite part
exciting
is
for
every
sure.
time you step out on a planet, it's a unique experience.
You spend all this time building your ship, and you see it on the landing pad. These things are gigantic. It's the kind of thing that you just can't get anywhere else.
There's something about seeing a tower over in the distance and going, I know the gravity's low here. I think I can make that jump.
My favorite part is biomes, spaceships,
audio design,
planets.
The day-night cycle, those details matter to me. Diplomacy, exploration, freedom, the ending.
Basco, obviously.
I love the robot so much.
The incredible amount of worlds we created.
Sniper rifles, come on.
Lever action, rocket launcher.
Brain sprout.
Lever action rock.
I love, but some people might find creepy. I don't know. I know it's right, Ben. The thing that I enjoy most about the game is the freedom to be who you want to be, do what you want to do.
Looks good,
it's
guys.
what you've
Looks
come
really
to
good.
expect from a Bethesda title, but on a much bigger scale.
It keeps saying bigger scale. That's not what I'm interested in. It's not the
behalf
fact that the game's big that I'm excited. It needs to be, I don't want to say dense, but like it kind of needs to have something to do on each planet. I don't know. I'm glad it's a really big game, but that shouldn't be necessarily the selling point. I mean, No Man's Sky was trying to sell that when it first released, and it released not great. That wasn't like the most appealing part of it, right? So it's okay that it's a big game. That's just maybe a side bonus, but it's not necessarily what I think they should be focusing on during marketing. But I mean, I don't know marketing for really big AAA companies, so maybe this is working for them. Who knows?
Of all of us, we can't wait for you to play Starfield and make your own special moments.
Make engines go. Good luck, Constellation. You are go for launch.
I like that logo. September 6th of this year, if they don't delay it again. Pre-order bonuses, you get a laser cutter and a deep mining helmet and pack. Base game available day one on Game Pass. I actually did not realize that. I don't have Game Pass. I like to just purchase my games fully without like having the feeling of renting them. But Game Pass is a great bang for your buck if you are wanting to play a billion games and for like a small price. Guys, this looks really good. I mean, I'm pretty excited about this. I wish games would stop doing this like pre-order bonus crap, but I mean, I'm getting used to it, I guess. I think I will wait until there's some reviews out there before I play the game. I don't know when the embargo lifts, but hopefully it's like a week ahead of time so I can still pre-order and get whatever bonuses that they will be releasing. I guess just these two, but I mean, it looks good. The end segment here where each developer or artist or whatever talked about what they liked in the game.
You spent all this time building your
Where did it go?
Diplomacy, exploration, freedom, the ending.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like there was a lot of passion behind this, right? It seems like these guys aren't just making the game to, make a buck and go home, or doing it because the publisher's telling them to. I'm sure a part of it is that, but it seems like they are given some freedom to kind of put their passion and love into this project. Obviously, they're going to try and make it look like that even if it wasn't true. But from what I can see, it seems like all the developers, all the artists really put some passion into this project. So I am excited to see that passion come through. My one worry is that it almost seems too good to be true, right? Like this is supposed to be a game where you can explore a universe and go to a billion planets, or not a billion, but however many planets, and you can have a different experience than every other player out there. It all seems like it's too big and too good to be true. Personally, if it was a really polished linear experience, that would be okay for me too. But I do love open world games. I do love RPGs. So if they can polish this before release and get it out and it's bug free and it's really as good as they say it's going to be, I'm all for it, right? Everything they showed today was amazing. I really liked the level of detail in each planet. Like I was pretty surprised at how diverse each planet was. Like the color palette's completely different. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Like the color palette between
to really
each,
make it feel
I'm gonna
more
mute it because we already heard all this. The color palette between each different planet, like it's completely different. This has got more of like a red hue. This other planet has more like green, vibrant colors, like green, orange, some pink. There's just a lot of difference between each planet, and it's almost shocking to me that they were able to achieve this level of difference, right? I don't know how like their color grading system works or whatever, but is there a loading screen before you land and when you take off? Because that would, I guess, kind of make sense if the colors are this vastly different between each planet. It's almost like they put another layer of tint on the screen before and after loading, so each planet looks really different. But yeah, I mean, this looks like, God, that looks amazing. Look at that foliage. I mean, I keep saying that, but the foliage looks really good. And the rocks and everything are rendered in 3D instead of like flat surfaces, it seems. It looks really good there. What's that called? Like parallax mapping? I'm not Digital Foundry, but I do like how they achieved these graphical feeds. I mean, this looks amazing. This is the best looking Bethesda game so far, obviously. Which also doesn't make sense to me because it's also the biggest Bethesda game so far. So I don't know how they're achieving this. But it looks so good. Character customization looks really good. I mean, there's a ton of stuff you can do in terms of like skills. It seems there's different levels to each skill tree: combat, social, physical, science, and tech. It looks good. I mean, I'm excited about this. I am cautious because it's a really big game, and they've spent a lot of time on it, and they've delayed it a bunch of times. And frankly, I would let them delay it again if it meant that I would get a better gameplay experience when it released. But I don't know. It just seems so big. It's like if Cyberpunk was an entire universe and not just Night City and the desert surrounding it. So, I mean, that seems like a pretty impossible task to me with the amount of details they're showing in the game. But hopefully this is good. I'm skeptical, but I'm optimistic here, right? I'm cautious and optimistic at the same time. I don't know if that even makes sense, but I'm pretty excited about this, guys. Hopefully they pull through and provide a good quality experience here. Character creation looks great. I like the amount of detail they have in terms of like facial hair and stuff. That usually is pretty important to me. I'll give myself a way bigger beard in game than I would be able to grow in real life. So, I mean, it looks good. It looks good. You can make your character super muscular. That's good. I always do that, of course. Trying to make them accurate to real life. I'm just kidding, but man, it looks pretty good. I wonder if you can do like piercings and if you can do like makeup and stuff as well. Because I saw that one guy or that one NPC with like a ton of face paint on his face. I wonder if you could do that for your own character, or if that's something you do after the game already, or after like the game starts and you have to like get a tattoo outside of the character creator. I also like that the background stuff is in game. That reminded me a little bit about what's it called, Project Zomboid or something, where your character has like a background, and depending on the background, your character traits are affected. That's pretty good as well. Yeah, but looks good. I mean, this video is already like super long. I'm gonna end it here, but what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Do you think this is going to be as good as they're saying this is going to be, or are you kind of skeptical here? Let me know. Thanks for sticking to the end if you guys did, but yeah, hopefully I can review this game when it comes out, and you know, I hope I like it as much as I think I'm going to like it. But take it easy, guys. Bye.